Hey everybody, how's it going? A little while back, a friend of mine approached me and said, "Hey, I have Grandpa's knife. The handle broke. Is there anything you can do for that?" I said, "Of course, I can fully restore it." So, here's the process that I took to take this knife looking like this to something beautiful. We're going to kick things off using our 2x72 belt grinder by Ameribraid with a 36 grit belt to grind off the ends of the pins that are holding the handle scales onto the knife. I tried to be really careful during this because I didn't want to hit the steel and mark it up any more than it was going to be. Once we got the ends of the pins ground off, we pulled out the big guns. And by big guns, I mean the smallest hammer I could find in my shop. Switching from a 36 grit belt to a worn out 320 grit belt is really easy on this Ameribraid grinder, and this worn out belt will do a little bit more to polish the metal than really take anything off just because of how worn out it is. I'm applying very light pressure because I don't really want to take anything off. I'm just trying to get that rust out of there and give me a smooth surface to work with when I go to put a handle back on. Buy one of these erasers. They're amazing. And now everyone's favorite, hand sanding. Tedious but necessary. And I'm going to pay special attention to the blade here to get as much off as I can without damaging anything. Oh, look at her shine. Well, one side so far. Now I used a hack that I use all the time. I use my eraser for the belt to wrap the sandpaper around, and it gives a moldable block instead of like a hard, rigid wooden one. This allows the sandpaper to follow contours a lot easier. And even in fast forward, this takes a long time. But it's completely worth the effort when it's done. Out of the 3 holes that were in this blade, one of them was not big enough for the 3/16 brass stock that I use. So we're just going to real carefully poke that hole. Oh my gosh, movie magic. There's already a piece of wood ready for handle scales? No way. Drill through, use this little set pin that I made to drill through again. And a second set pin to make sure nothing moves while I'm drilling. Use the vise, kids. They'll save your hand. Ooh, look at that. Perfectly drilled holes. Ooh, ah. Let's cut this thing in half. Oh my gosh, movie magic. 2 scales ready to slap on that knife. We're going to glue and pin it on and come back. Wow, that was fast. Now it's glued and pinned on. Now we're going to sand off those pins. I did actually sand them down a little bit first, and then I peened them on with a ball peen hammer. Now I'm just making sure that they're going to be flush with the wood. We're back to our 36 grit belt here because I want to take off as much material as possible, but I'm also doing this very lightly because I don't want to be aggressive and leave huge grooves. I really like how that's beginning to look. And again, with the easy switch thanks to a Ameribraid system, you guys rock. We're up to 120 grit belt. Make sure it's tracking. Let's get to polishing. And I'm just going to follow all of the paths that I made before, taking out scratches and anything else that I don't like. And here's where I realized that my platform was not flush with the belt. Again, Ameribraid, thank you for making a system that is so easy to adjust. We're just working out scratches, getting that wood nice and smooth along with the brass and the steel. Oh yeah, she's beginning to look really nice. Egads, another switch! Yeah, I did skip right to a 1200 grit belt. Sue me. This step is really just to polish the wood. It's removing almost nothing at this point, but the wood is coming out incredibly smooth. This step also helps when I go to the buffer next, because most of the scratches are already gone. Look at that shine. Oh, yeah. Now, we're going to go to the buffer, and we're going to make this puppy really shiny. Starting with the really aggressive black grit, I'm going to do all of the handle and all of the blade, because I like both of them to be nice and shiny. I reapply the buffing compound several times to the wheel just to make sure that I get a good even coat on the whole thing. And the real shine is starting to come through. Look at that. Now I'm going to move over to the green compound for really good polish. And this is just to make it really shiny, which I like. I'm really happy with how this thing has turned out. I'd never done this style of handle before, but I wanted to be as close to the original as possible. And honestly, I think I did a pretty bang-up job. The brass contrasts wonderfully with the steel and the walnut that I chose to use for handle scales. I hope my friend is happy with it and Grandpa's legacy lives on. Have a good one.